For these people who, for the first time ever, do their trading analytics session with me, how many people, what percentage of people do you think have too tight of stops? Why don't you go ahead and answer and tell me what you think? Kenny's saying 60%, Michelle van der Marel is saying 80%, Marcel van der Kurkhoff, I'm probably totally butchering your names, I'm sorry, 90%, good to see you, Tai, 70, 85, 75, 85, 75, 70, 80, all high numbers. So y'all are having an intuition that what you're doing, now that I've brought it up, probably isn't the best thing. 74% of the people who come to me for their trading analytics session the first time have too tight of stops. To translate this back to the archery example, what it is that very early on, without having consistency in your technique and execution, people are going for the center of the target. And my guess is if anybody has done archery before, or if in the next week or month you were to take your first archery class, you would realize that this is actually a very silly thing to do. To try and go for the perfect 10, the inner circle. It is a very silly thing to do because even though that is your eventual goal, it's not your goal right now. Your goal should be consistency and technique and process. If you do not have that, you will not have shots that group together and you will not be able to consistently hit the center of that target. The other thing about it is to hit the center of the target consistently, there has to be not only consistency in your process and technique, but there has to be precision. And as you get better and better in archery, as it goes along, the targets get smaller and smaller, which means you have to have greater consistency and greater precision. The problem is many of you are going for the very center perfect 10 of the target within your first 20 or 30 trades. That's the wrong approach. You're not going to do that. You're setting a goal for yourself that is unachievable. And so you're setting yourself up and your self-image up for failure. To have tight stops requires precision. It requires precision in two particular points of your trading. It requires precision in your entry or your trade location. And it requires precision in your stop loss placement. Some people think having precise stop loss means that it's only dependent on how perfectly you can align the stop loss. Well, your stop loss is relevant to your entry and trade location. If your trade location is really good and you want a precise stop, that means that two things have to be in place. One, you have to be reading the price action context in the location to such a degree of precision that you were able to get in at A, the point where the maximum amount of orders will be in your favor, bullish or bearish, and B, timing. You could have a really precise trade location, but if your timing isn't there, then it throws off the whole stop loss. Now, I'm guessing you all could agree, or most of you could agree, that you don't have this precision yet. And in terms of order, in terms of which one you should work on first and which one you should work on second, your location should be the first thing you work on. Timing should be second, because timing is a slightly different skill. It's not just that you're able to find the location, it's that you're able to find the location in a particular period of time that the bulls or the bears are not only there, but they're about to come in with a huge rush of orders, or the other side of the market is about to collapse within a very short period of time, thus making your trade have really good timing. That's something you're not going to have in the beginning. And just like my archery teacher told me, don't worry about where your shots land. Just get the process down. That's what you need to be doing. You need to just completely abandon the idea of hitting the center of the target. You need to just let that shit go. Your goal should be to A, read the price action context according to the three pillars. B, you should be trading with trend as much as possible. And C, you should have this process down from start to finish in terms of how you open up your charts, how you prepare for yourself mentally for the day, for the trading day, What is your pre-routine leading up to the moment you sit down in that chair, to the moment you open up the charts? How do you look through the charts? How do you select things? That all is where your focus should be in trying to identify with trend trading opportunities as much as possible. That should be your focus for the next few months, for dozens and dozens of trades. When you start to have that, and you should be doing that in a limited set of circumstances. You should be doing that with, maybe a couple systems. Maybe you want to trade just breakouts. Maybe you want to trade breakout pullbacks. Maybe you want to trade LLTs only. Maybe you want to trade false breaks only. Pick a couple different ways of doing it and then just focus on that solely. Not only trying to understand through repetition and repetition and repetition what really good setups within that kind of structure look like. What are really good false break setups with trend? What are really good, pre-breakout structures look like? What are good breakout pullback setups and clean trends look like? You should not be focusing on unclean trends. As I've said before in the video, unclean trends are harder to trade. That's a skill you should focus on later. Your goal should be on something that that is somewhat simple, that you can repeat and have a narrow focus. And then that will build a base of skills. And then we can slowly focus on the next thing, which is grouping your shots together. In other words, you take 3 trades, 5 trades, 10 trades, 15 false break trades, and your execution and process is incredibly detailed and consistent. And you're able to relatively find a good trade location. Then at that point, we can start focusing on getting you closer and closer to the center of the target and refining your stop loss. So in the beginning, have a little bit wider stop loss than you think. I see a lot of you going for some very, 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 very tight stop losses. And I get it. You want to maximize your profit. That's a good thing. I get it. You want to get the highest plus R ratio possible. I get it. But by and large, most people that I see are going for too large of targets, and they do not have wide enough stop losses to accommodate their lack of precision in finding a very precise trade location. This is super, super important. So if you need any kind of framework for thinking about this, think about this like I am with my recent comeback to archery. The goal isn't to hit the center of the target right now. That is your eventual goal, but it's not your goal right now. Your goal right now is consistency in your shot, in your process, in your execution. Then we want to start grouping our shots together, which means from one to the next things are consistent. And then we can slowly start to refine trade locations and stop losses.